Okay. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. We'll start the session, sir. Will join in some time. You can start asking your questions. If there are questions which I can settle, then I will. Otherwise, sir will join and solve them as well. Any questions? Yes, please. Chetna and Sachin, do people have any questions? Okay. Chetna says no. Both of you don't have any questions. Okay. In that case, we will people to join. And if they have any questions, we'll take it up. Let's wait for a few minutes. I'm going to be here in case you have any doubts or questions. Will you please ask them? We'll wait for a while and see if other people join and if they have questions. If nobody has any questions, then we'll wind up the session. Okay? But I'm going to be here in case you guys have any questions. You can think about anything, any questions that you might have regarding the content. If you have anything, please do ask. Right. Anyone who's joined now and is in the call, any questions or any doubts that you need to get clarified, please ask me. Um, Sir will join in some time. Shonali and Shivam, since you've joined just now, do you have any questions? Shivam, if you are trying to speak, we can't hear you.
Ma'am, can you repeat, ma'am? I cannot understand.
No, no, no. I just asked you if you have any questions.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Nobody has any questions?
Ma'am, can you explain me this aspiration sounds that I'm not very clear about the topic. I'm not able to identify properly.
Okay. So, what do you understand about aspiration? You tell me that first, and then we'll see what is it that you don't understand. What are the concepts that are involved when you're trying to identify aspirated sounds? You tell me that first, and then I'll tell you what is it that you don't understand. You must have watched the lecture already, right?
I heard, ma'am. Actually,
Yeah. Yeah, just tell me what you understood from the lecture. So, it would be helpful for others as well. Let's see what are the concepts that are involved in the, uh, you know, identification of aspirated sounds. Let's begin with first of all talking about aspirated sounds. How many aspirated sounds does English have? Can answer at least that question. Sonali, still around?
I can hear you.
Yeah. What are the aspirated sounds in English? Which are the aspirated sounds?
Ma'am, I just could understand from that lecture, but like I'm not able to put into action. That's why I wanted to ask you as a doubt.
No, the sounds alone. I understand maybe you don't know the concept, but what are the sounds? That much, if you watched the lecture, you should have at least understood that, right? We don't have many aspirated sounds in English, or for that matter, aspiration is not like a very prominent quality of English sounds. It's only associated with very few sounds. Anybody else who wants
Yes,
to
ma'am.
answer? Others can also contribute. One person needn't be the one only answering the question. Right. So if you're not able to answer basic questions, it means you're not listening to the lectures carefully, right? So first and foremost, for any sort of conceptual understanding, if you can't even like approach the lecture, then that means you really need to revisit. You need to rewatch it again. But for your sake of understanding, we'll begin with answering what are the aspirated sounds. We only have three aspirated sounds in English. You have p, t, and k, right? These are the only three aspirated sounds. They're also known as the voiceless stops, right? Whatever
Yes, ma'am.
aspiration we see are only on these three sounds, right? Was it difficult to answer that question? So once you know that, then all you need to know is how do they become aspirated. So there are two conditions particularly for these three sounds to be aspirated in a given word. First condition is that they must be part of a stressed syllable, right? This can aspiration can only happen if one of these sounds are a part of the stressed syllable of a given word, right? Second condition is that it should not just be stressed, but it should also be the first sound of the stressed syllable, right? Unless these two conditions are satisfied, you cannot say that a given sound or the among per or go, whichever the sound is aspirated, right? So in a word like say kill, right? Kill, kill. This is a monosyllabic word, right? So there is no question of checking for which syllable has the stress. There's only one syllable. Stress is on the syllable itself. And the second condition is also satisfied because the sound appears in the beginning of the word, right? Because there's only one syllable here. Of course, the stress syllable is the word itself, right? The syllable of the word itself. And additionally, the sound appears in the beginning of the syllable, right? So both the conditions for aspiration is satisfied, hence in this case is aspirated. This is how you're going to analyze aspiration in all the words, right? All the words which carry a k sound or a f sound or a t sound, which could possibly be aspirated, right? Possible aspiration is determined based on these two. Okay, Shonali?
Yes, ma'am, I got it.
You try with
I'm
lyrics
actually,
first.
when it comes not to the I'm getting it when I see the lecture. Like after some time, it's like I completely just forget the topic. Like I don't know why it's not staying.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to
Okay.
clarify it with you.
No problem. You can clarify, but I think revisiting would help you because aspiration has a property. First of all, you need to understand what aspiration is. Right? What is an aspiration? Aspiration is basically an acoustic property with a physical attribute of a given sound, right? Which basically is what there's an additional puff of air as you speak, as you produce or articulate that given sound, right? There's an additional puff of air. Now, aspiration as such is not a property of any sounds in English, right? Like if you compare it with the Indian languages, we have an aspirated pair for most of it, right? For each of the word that we have, each of the category of words, we have an aspirated pair, right? Like English has a voiced and a voiceless pair. We have an aspirated and a non-aspirated pair. So you have churn, her, you have gone, her, you have churn, cha, and jern, ja, right? These are aspirations. But in
Yes,
the
ma'am.
case of India, we don't have it. Right? We only have it for, or to be more precise, we only have it for a set of voiceless stops which are per turn. The only thing that you need to identify to know whether the given one is an aspirated ka or not, or aspirated pa or not, or aspirated ka or not, is to see the two conditions I specified. First one is see that it's part of a stress syllable, and additionally see that it is also the first sound of the stress syllable. Right? These two things help you. That's all. That's all the concept is. Nothing more.
Yes,
This
ma'am,
should
I got
also
it.
mean that you should know how to mark stress, right? So stress is also like syllabification is an important. Um, you need to have a knowledge of syllabification first. You also need to know the stress patterns and stress marks. Right? These two things, if you are confident with, then the only thing is to figure out whether it comes first, whether it is stress. That's all. Okay.
Actually, they taught it with that keeping the hand in the jaw, and that I practiced few words, ma'am. I could able to understand with the lecture, but this one is like too many words. When I see, like I'm not able to get along with the topic. That's why I asked you.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Aspiration. This is
Yes,
about
ma'am.
aspiration.
Aspiration only. Like I was like when seeing the words, no, I couldn't like develop some
But
technique to understand.
whatever the word
Now
is,
you told the two conditions, no, ma'am. I'll just do it again and check it out.
yeah,
Thank you, ma'am.
that's okay. No, even with the jaw drop method, you just need to use the jaw drop method to know the strike. That's all. Nothing more.
Ma'am, actually, it worked. Actually, I tried pronouncing it along with them, and it actually made sense. So this one I could actually not think of
Yeah.
something to correlate it to. So it was not actually staying. Now, as you said, these two conditions, I can actually now figure it out.
Okay.
Thank you so
Okay.
much, ma'am.
So, no problem. Okay. Any other questions, anyone?
Yes, ma'am, I have.
Yeah, Sonali, go ahead.
Actually, ma'am, it's practice assignments. Sorry. Yeah, practice assignment 6.2, question number 2. Uh, Question is John laughed loudly. The verb laugh takes that object in its complement 1, 2, 3, or 0. So, what will
John
be the
laughs
answer,
loudly.
ma'am?
John laughs loudly.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
The answer
compliments
should be the answer should
zero.
be one, right, ma'am? Why,
No,
ma'am?
answer
Because
should be zero.
it complements.
Answer should be zero, right? What is the answer they're given? They say one. Sonali?
Yes, ma'am. I'm listening.
Yeah. What is the answer given? It should be zero, right?
Yes, ma'am. The answer is zero.
Mm-hmm. Answer is zero because there is no complement. You know, what kind of a verb is love? Love is an intransitive verb, right? It does not need any complement or object to complete its meaning, right? I can say she laughed, but she laughs, right? You don't have to have anything else to complete the meaning of the verb, do we? We don't. So, which is why the number of complements is zero for this sentence, right? The verb has no complement here. We're fine, Sonali?
Ma'am, if we are not using the loudly, it's a complete the sentence, right?
Loudly is not a complement. Loudly is what? Loudly is an adverb which is an adjunct, right? So I can simply say she laughed. I don't have to necessarily add loudly there. Even without loudly, the sentence is grammatical, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So loudly doesn't constitute a complement. It is the adjunct. So because loudly is optional, that's the difference between adjunct and complement. If there is an element or a segment in the sentence which is important for the sentence to maintain its grammaticality, by which I mean if you remove that particular segment or phrase from that sentence, then the sentence looks ungrammatical. It is meaningless, or more than meaningless, it is also ungrammatical. Let's take the example you gave. She laughed loudly. I cannot take out the word laugh here, right? Or if I am going to use a separate sentence like I ate mangoes, I cannot say I ate, right? That's an ungrammatical sentence. I have to complete it with a complement, which is mangoes. I ate mangoes. But that is not applicable for a verb like laugh. I can say she laughed and it's still complete, right? So the difference here is between the nature of the verb. One verb that I just mentioned in the sentence I gave, I ate mangoes, it is a transitive verb. So it requires at least one complement to complete its grammatical. Laugh is intransitive, it doesn't need anything, right? So it doesn't require any complement. The loudly that you see there is an adjunct. So the sentence which I gave, I eat mango or I ate mango quickly, right? So quickly, I can remove quickly from that and I can still be fine with it, right? I ate mangoes is also grammatical and I ate mangoes quickly is also grammatical. Quickly is optional. Same is the case for loudly in the sentence. Okay, understood.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yeah.
one question in that only.
Mm.
The interrogative form of the above sentence is John laughed loudly. The interrogative of that sentence should be did John laugh too loudly, right?
Sorry, repeat the option you gave me.
Uh, the interrogative form of the above sentence is does John laugh loudly? Do John laugh loudly? Did John laugh loudly? Did
Yes.
John laugh loudly? The correct answer should be, ma'am, did John laugh loudly, right?
Yes. What is the answer you have given me?
Ma'am, but the answer is did John laugh loudly, not laughed.
Not laughed because see, your tense is already
Ma'am, because
separated.
tense
No?
is already defined by the did, right?
Yes, yes, correct,
That's why.
correct. Yes, yes.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, can you please uh, explain the a coordinate sentence?
Which sentence? Sorry.
Coordinate sentence.
Coordinate sentence.
Yes, ma'am. Which is in the week 6, ma'am.
Coordinate sentence. Okay, I'll. Week six is on what again? This one is it's a writing module, isn't it? Sonali?
Ma'am, wait, I'm checking it.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, ma'am, in week 6 only.
Okay. Uh, what topic does this come under again?
Ma'am, it's come under the question in a complex sentence, embedded sentence.
Okay, it should be then a coordinating conjunction or something, not a coordinate sentence. Just give me a moment. I'll check back and tell you.
Okay,
Okay.
ma'am.
I have a feeling
Yes,
that
ma'am.
the term you're using is not right. Let me figure that out first and get you.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Ma'am, can you please explain the complex and embedded sentence?
Complex and embedded sentence. So does this come in the context of the complex and embedded sentence?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You probably are referring to a compound sentence which uses a coordinating conjunction, if I'm not wrong. Okay. But just to confirm, I'll still look at the um, lecture content as well.
Was that question related to coordinate sentence, leader?
I think so, sir. She has coordinate sentence. I guess she's talking about compound sentence, which has a coordinating conjunction. So
Correct,
just
correct.
confirm. Yeah.
Two sentences together is coordinate sentence. Just check. Any other questions, guys?
Yes, sir. I have. One sentence is there in the PPT slide that question sentence are embedded. One does not have extraction of tense out of the verb. Can you please explain it?
Read it again, please.
Yeah, sure, sir. Question sentence are embedded. One does not have extraction of tense out of the verb.
Okay, see, what that means is when we have a question sentence in general, like, how did you learn English? Okay, what we do is we extract tense also out of the verb. You, somebody says, let's say, I learned English with the help of a book. So in this sentence, the verb learn is in past tense. But when we make a question, we extract tense also along with the question word in English. And therefore, we say a sentence like, how did you learn? And the verb becomes without tense. Understand this much?
Yes, sir.
Then what happens is when a question sentence is embedded in a bigger sentence, okay? Like, I know what your name is. We don't say, I know what you are doing. Okay? We don't say, I know what are you doing. Get it? Can you write these two sentences?
Yes, sir. Can you please repeat?
I know what you are doing. Okay? This sentence is ungrammatical. I'm sending it in the chat box. Look at it. This sentence is ungrammatical in English because it has Oh, no, 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 I'm sorry. This sentence is good. I know what you are doing is good. What will be ungrammatical is I know what are you doing. This sentence will become ungrammatical. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Because are is being extracted along with what. But in an embedded sentence, this extraction does not happen. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is one of the common errors that people commit in English when they speak English as a second language. Okay.
Yes, sir.
We often we say things like I know what I know what do you want. Okay. But actual sentence should be I know what you want or what you wanted. I know what you mean. We don't say I know what do you mean. Okay. So when question sentences are embedded in a bigger sentence as an object of the verb, then the extraction of tense out of the question sentence does not work. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Go ahead, leader. Go ahead with more questions.
Okay. Sonali, yes, your question on the other sentence, it is a coordinating conjunction. Okay. So that refers basically to a compound sentence, right? Two different sentences, independent sentences, joined together by a conjunction, and that conjunction is called a coordinating conjunction. Examples would be and, but, or so. So these are all examples of
Yes,
such.
ma'am, got it. Actually, I have
Yeah.
written wrong. That's why.
Ah, yes, got it. Okay. And the other question
Ma'am,
was about complex sentences.
yes, ma'am.
So complex
Actually,
sentences
ma'am, in
basically
6.3 questions are there, so I'm not able to do that. That's why I'm asking.
complex sentence. So what is the question now? It's on complex sentence only, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Complex sentence would be something which will have an embedded clause in it. So it's going to have a subject and a predicate like any other sentence, right? But as the part of the predicate, it is going to have a clause, which means there will be another, uh, a dependent clause which will be embedded in that. If, for example, say something like, um, I know that you will go to the college tomorrow. Right? So in that sentence, it's a complex sentence. This has a subject, which is I. It has a verb, which is no. And as a complement of the um, verb no, you have that she will go to the college tomorrow. It is that she will go to the college tomorrow is your embedded clause. Okay. And any sentence which has an embedded clause within it is a complex sentence. I leave the uh, sentence for your reference in the chat so you can look at it. Okay, so now we take a look at it. Okay, so look at it and try and understand what an embedded clause is.
Sorry, ma'am.
Please take a look at the sentence in the chat and try and understand what an embedded clause is. Did you hear me when I was talking? You got the concept of what an embedded clause is, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So you can refer to that sentence and see which one is an embedded clause. So the part that begins from that is your embedded clause. And embedded clauses are always a part of the complex sentence. Any sentence that has an embedded clause would be called a complex sentence. Okay.
Means, ma'am, the complex sentence and the embedded sentence are the same, right?
Um, complex sentences will have embedded clause. Okay. I don't know what is an embedded sentence. We don't have anything like that. Embedded clauses are part of a complex sentence.
Okay, ma'am. As you told, ma'am, in complex sentence, one we have a subordinate sentence and one we have a independent
Subordinate
sentence,
clause.
right?
Yes,
Yeah,
independent
sorry,
clause.
clause.
Please refer
Yes,
to the
ma'am. Yes.
clause.
Sorry,
Yeah.
clause.
No, no,
So here we have I know is a independent, and she will
I
go
no.
to.
No. The whole of the sentence is an independent clause, right? And within that, you have an embedded clause or a dependent clause, as it's called. Okay? The whole sentence, I know that she will go to college tomorrow. That's your independent clause, right? And within that, you have an embedded clause, which is the part beginning with from that, right? That she will go to college tomorrow. This is your embedded clause.
Okay, ma'am. Got it. Ma'am, one topic is there from the week 8,
Hmm.
preface writing. Can you please explain it?
You need to watch the lecture for that, Sonali. That is the best way to go about it, right? So make notes,
Yes,
watch the lecture
ma'am.
and
I
make notes.
I go through the PPT slide, but
No. Just don't go through the PPT slide for these kind of, because these are topics in writing and, reading and all that. So for skill-based modules, it is not a good idea to just look at the PPT. Okay, please watch the lectures because there are going to be several other things that the professor or the person concerned, the faculty would talk about, right? So don't just depend on the PPT. PPT for such kind of modules would be very limited. Do not just depend on the PPT. Watch the lectures and make notes, right? Because it's a process-oriented module. They teach you how to write something. So you need to watch and figure out what it is, right? Just looking at the PPT will not help.
okay, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. I will.
Yeah. Yes. Please watch it and make notes. If there are questions for practice, try to work out at least one or two of it, right? But for your practice and even for the exam, if they ask you a question that is based on the lecture, it will be difficult for you to answer if you just, follow the PPT reading. So make sure that you watch the lecture.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am,
Sure.
quiz 2, the syllabus will be 1 to 8, right?
Yes, week 5 to 8, yes, with more focus on weeks from 5 to 8. You can keep your preparations, you can plan your preparation based on that. Okay?
Ma'am, but in 5 to 8, we have most of the writing section. So how the questions will become from that
They will
weeks?
ask you some questions, some theoretical questions, or something that requires you to apply. And the only thing that is restricting us is to ask you a descriptive question. But you can ask you questions based on the lectures, right? Something that can be converted to an institute. So do not just skip those lectures. You probably, not probably, you will definitely get questions.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Right. No problem. Anyone? Uh, any other questions? Anyone? No more questions? Nobody?
Any other questions, leader?
Not yet, sir.
Guys, anything else? Sonali is the only one asking question. What about other people? You see several people, Janvi, Shivam, Shaurya, Neha Kumari. Shona. There is another person, Shonali Alvin. Okay,
Yes,
guys.
sir.
No, I thanks. I can hear you. So, if there aren't questions with you, for more questions, then can we close this for today?
Will there be any audio clips? We had this reading comprehension and all, no, sir. Like any listening
Can you speak
based.
a little louder?
Sir, listening based questions. Any audio clips will be there for the exam, or only like
Audio clip is we want you to listen to any audio is fine. If you are spending 15-20 minutes listening to something in English, you should be fine.
any
I
specific?
think she's asking about the question.
Sorry, Lida, say it again.
I think she's asking about the question or the exam, sir.
No, I understand, but we give samples. Are we giving samples?
No, not anymore. We don't give any audio.
Oh, we don't use audio samples, Shonali.
Okay, sir. Like if you want to refer any websites to just understand the pronunciation, is there?
So
any
we are not using that anymore, but what I was saying is it is always advisable to listen to 15-20 minutes English for improving your language.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right, guys. Okay, then, Lida, we can close. We'll meet again next
Okay.
week, Wednesday.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.